Good evening, everyone. This is your evening news recap, your nightly news podcast on all the news throughout the day that I come across, giving you my take as somebody who aspires to be a politician in the near future. Hopefully, all you guys are having a wonderful day, as today, I believe, is Tuesday, July 8th. It's been an interesting day throughout the news world. Overall, there is some cat screaming at me. I have no clue where it is, but I hear it meowing. But hopefully, all of you guys are doing well. And let's get right into the news recap. The Trump administration has been busy today, as we have quite a few topics from the administration, as well as topics from ICE and the other news segment as well. But opening up with our Trump administration segment, the first topic we have today is the IRS is allowing places of worship to make political endorsements without losing tax exemption. The IRS has announced that it will allow houses of worship to endorse political candidates, my apologies, for political office without losing tax exempt status. Since 1954, churches and other nonprofits would lose tax exempt status if they participated or intervened in political campaigns, but this will no longer be the case after a new court document. The national religious broadcasters and several other churches sued the IRS over the rule, arguing that it goes against the freedom of speech and freedom of religion. The court filing didn't go as far to totally remove the Johnson Amendment, but it does say when a house of worship in good faith speaks to its congregation on matters of faith and connection with religious services concerning electoral political viewed through the matter of the lens of religious faith and either participates or intervenes in a political campaign. The IRS compares the endorsements to a family discussion. There needs to be a separation of church and state in this country. It's in the Constitution, yet MAGA believes that this is a Christian nation, and it's not. I mean, anyone can go outside and walk around in any town and learn that very quickly. Just down the street from my house, there's a Sikh temple that I see pretty much every day when I drive past it. You can learn very quickly that we are not just a solely Christian nation. So, I mean, comparing churches to talking about politics, or comparing talking about politics and churches as a family discussion, if I could speak wholly, is absolutely crazy. I'm going to be, 100% real when I say this. If your pastor or your religious leader is telling you who to vote for, you are definitely in a cult. In no world should your church be deciding who you vote for or telling you who to vote for. Not only is that weird, but it's one of the first signs of a cult. At the end of the day, you should be making your own decisions, especially when it comes to politics. Nobody else should be but you. And if that's the case, I mean, especially in the political world, you probably should reflect on it because the things that they are telling you to vote for probably will negatively impact your views and your life as a whole. Moving on, Trump freaked out about reporters asking about Epstein. Trump lashed out on a reporter for asking questions about the Epstein files the day after the Justice Department claimed there was not a client list. The New York Post journalist Steve Nelson asked about a minute that was missing from the video release surrounding Epstein's death in his Manhattan jail cell. He also asked if Epstein had worked as an American or a foreign in a foreign intelligence agency. Trump would then respond, "Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. Are people still talking about this guy, this creep? It's unbelievable. Do you want to waste my time?" Trump would then bring up the floods in Texas as well, seemingly in an attempt to redirect the conversation. Trump is 100% without a doubt in those files, and he seems to be making it very clear that he doesn't want people talking about it, which is honestly why we should be. There are clear signs that Trump is in the files. Somebody just needs to spill the beans on it. If it's getting on Trump's nerves, then reporters should still keep asking because it's very clear that he has something to hide. I mean, he was great friends with Jeffrey Epstein forever. He took multiple planes with the man, and there is even multiple statements from Trump himself that would suggest that he likes children, to say the least. So, I mean, 100%, there is no way, without a doubt, that Trump is on those files. Moving on, talking about the video that was released, the Trump administration has released a Epstein video missing a minute of footage. The Department of Justice posted a video of Jeffrey Epstein in a cell in an attempt to prove that Epstein took his own life, but this would backfire as viewers noticed a minute and 2-second clip was cut from the footage between 11:58 p.m. to 12 a.m. The footage was released along with a 2-page memo from the department saying, after a thorough investigation, the FBI concluded that Epstein died of suicide in his cell. Attorney General Pam Bondi tried to explain why this was the case during a cabinet meeting. She said that the minute missing from a practice stems from a practice since the 90s in the use of an outdated system, going on to say, every night should have the same minute missing, so we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that showing that a minute is missing every night. So I looked into, this outdated technology claim a little bit, and it very well could be entirely possible, depending on what the videos were taken on. If they used VHS, it's very possible, because you would have had to taken out the tape and put a new one in. But I don't think that was the case, as the video resumes after the cut. If possible, and very likely possible, I believe this might be 100% the case, if there wasn't, any technical difficulties or whatever, somebody harmed or destroyed the recording. It's very obvious that someone didn't want anyone knowing or, finding out what happens during Epstein's death. And, it likely could have been somebody on the lists, but, I have a gut feeling with whatever was in that minute and 2-second long clip, if anything at all, it no longer exists. If it wasn't recorded, if it was removed from the file, if it was removed from the tape, whatever happened in that minute and 2-second period, it does not exist anymore. And I don't know if we'll ever find proof of it, but I highly doubt that there is any trace of that minute, which is unfortunate, and definitely illegal. But the rich get to do what they see fit at the end of the day. Moving on, in other news, Trump is considering taking over governance of Washington, D.C. Trump and his administration are considering taking control of Washington, D.C. in order to combat crime, supposedly. Trump said during his cabinet meeting, "We could run D.C. I mean, we're looking at D.C. We're thinking about doing it. And to be honest with you, we want a capital that runs flawlessly." He said Chief of Staff Susan Wiles was in touch with the mayor of D.C., but he didn't specify what the White House meant by running the city. This was in an executive order by the Trump administration that I reported on in around March. The order was called Making the District of Columbia Safe and Beautiful. That was the order that allowed Trump to make his DC task force and so much more, which I'm not sure if he followed through with or not. I don't remember hearing anything about that until the order was filed. I honestly didn't remember. I don't remember anyone talking about the order at all. I believe I was like one of very few people who covered it, which is honestly very alarming. But it labels these actions as making DC safe and beautiful when that's not the case. When I hear something like this, it reminds me of when Hitler had taken over Berlin officially, and there were Nazi flag banners outside of government buildings during World War II and throughout the entire Hitler era. And it feels very strikingly similar to, the process that Hitler took to take Berlin from the 1930s or 1933 to 1934. As we know, that's right up Trump's alley. Trump actually has said on multiple occasions that he, likes the guy, which is alarming, but it's crazy. It really is. It reminds me strongly, as a historian who has spent a large amount of time researching Nazi Germany, and researching World War II as a whole. Um, and it terrifies me. It really does. If Trump aims to control DC and whatever that means, I don't think it would be any different from seeing, those swastika banners on government buildings during World War II or so much more. I really don't. Moving on to the final Trump administration segment today, the Supreme Court has allowed Trump to reorganize the government. The Supreme Court has lifted an order blocking the Trump administration's ability to lay off hundreds of thousands of federal employees. The order was unsigned, and Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson dissented, while fellow liberal judge Sonia Sotomayor agreed with the decision. Justice Sotomayor wrote that the lower courts were free to adjust the constitutionality of the plans, and that there was a possibility for this to return to the Supreme Court as the ruling has been unsigned. The Supreme Court is absolutely 100%, without a doubt, corrupt at this point. I think they've stopped Trump and his entire administration once this time around, and the rest of the time he gets whatever he wants on a silver platter, just as we see here. It's a massive problem. It's why we need to have term limits in the Supreme Court. It is very clear that they are one of the key reasons that why Trump is able to do as he pleases, and that shouldn't be the case. I mean, time and time again, they have ruled in Trump's favor no matter what. And not only is it disgusting, but it is becoming a key problem in this country that needs to be stopped. Moving on into our ICE segment today, we have two topics. The first one being major human rights violations are happening at the Alligator Alcatraz. Cuban artist Lemzy La Figura was arrested in Miami last week on assault charges and was sent to the Alligator Alcatraz facility in the Florida Everglades. He and other detainees claimed they went through horrible conditions at the site, lacking access to water, food, and even denial of religious rights. In a phone call from inside of the facility, La Figura described the conditions. He said, "I am Lemzy La Figura. We have been at Alcatraz here since Friday. There's been over 400 people here. There is no water to take a bath. It's been 4 days since I've taken a bath. They brought meals once a day and it had maggots. They never take the lights off for 24 hours. The mosquitoes are as big as elephants." Another detainee from Colombia described his deteriorating mental health, saying, "I'm on the edge of losing my mind. I've gone 3 days without taking medicine. It is impossible to sleep with the white lights on all day. They took my Bible I had, and they said there was no rights to religion. And my Bible is the one thing that keeps my faith. And now I'm losing my faith." This is in no way shocking at all. ICE facilities across the country are like this. And, when I said when this was announced, this was likely going to be the case, and it remains to be the case here. But taking away a Bible from an inmate and telling him he doesn't have the right to religion is, insane. After hearing the next article, your blood will boil. Just saying, just a fair warning now, especially after hearing this. But I mean, this is wild. You're telling me that you're telling me that in the MAGA Christian nationalist nation, people in jail aren't allowed to be Christian. And I know the Bible doesn't just apply to Christianity, but I'm preaching real quick. These are humans, not animals. I really hope, and I really, really, really hope that every ICE agent that gets to spend their fair time in jail for what they have done to these people, especially whatever agent took this man's Bible, because that is insane. To take away a man's right to religion, you have to be disgusting and fucking demented. Fuck ICE, fuck Donald Trump. Sorry for swearing. I'm gonna swear a lot more in the next one. I got really into this. Sorry, guys. Moving on. Tom Homan demands Americans stop calling ICE agents racists or Nazis. You guys aren't ready for this one. Border czar Tom Homan is demanding people tone down their rhetoric against ICE officers after a Texas police officer was shot outside of an ICE detention center this weekend. Homan said on Monday, "The rhetoric against the men and women of ICE is skyrocketing, especially by members of Congress. We have senators, we have congresspeople compare ICE to Nazis, compare ICE to racists, and it continues. So the public thinks, well, if a member of Congress can attack ICE, why can't we? The rhetoric has to stop," he warned, going on to say, "or it's a matter of time one of the ICE agents goes down, or a criminal goes down. We've already seen an officer go down." Homan would then go on to remind everyone that these agents have families too, and that's why we shouldn't be treating them that way. take a little deep breath for a second, everyone. See what I mean by making your blood boil? So, when we have ICE agents taking away Bibles or arresting American citizens based on the color of their skin, we are not supposed to compare them to racists or Nazis because they have families. Well, breaking fucking news to you, Mr. Tom Homan. Do you know who else has families? Do you know? The people that these agents are sending to facilities with horrible conditions. I mean, there are reports of agents sexually abusing women in a facility in Colorado. But no, don't say anything bad about these poor ICE agents because they have families. You genuinely have to be fucking kidding me. I do not give a flying fuck, and I'm sorry for swearing again, but if you have the audacity to say some shit like this on national television, you deserve to be in an ICE facility. Not the mother who works hard for her kids, or the dad who works 3 jobs just trying to put food on the table. You, Mr. Tom Homan, should be rotting in that goddamn alligator Alcatraz, not anyone else. You are fucking sick. You are demented to go on national television and say, oh, these ICE agents have families, so we need to be treating them better, while we are actively ruining families across the goddamn country. You are delusional. You are a terrible person. You are fucking demented. You should be rotting in that facility. You should be rotting in hell. You are disgusting. You truly are. And I could keep going on and on and on. And as much as I would love to, as much as I would like to continuously call Tom Homan a terrible human being, there is really not more I can say, because I've said it all. You should be rotting in that facility, not anyone who is currently sitting in there right now. Mr. Tom Homan, you are a fucking problem. You are an issue. And you deserve to rot in hell just as much as anyone else in the Trump administration, just as much as any of the people from Nazi Germany who said, oh, we were just following orders, just as much as Adolf Hitler. You deserve to be rotting in hell. God, I fucking hate that man. Sorry for swearing, guys. I'm truly sorry, but it is hard not to in a situation like that. Moving on to our other news segments, we're gonna shift the tone here as we actually have some great news. As the first thing we have is 2 camp counselors saved a bunch of girls. Sylvania Garza and Maria Paula, my apologies, were a huge part of helping survivors at Camp Mystic during the floods on the 4th of July weekend in Texas. Excuse me, I'm sorry. They wrote their names on themselves in fear of being swept away, but they also did the same for the girls attending the camp, making sure it was written somewhere easy to see. Maria said, at the time, we started to prepare our girls because we thought we were also going to be evacuated. The counselors were told to put on a happy face in order to not scare the campers, but unfortunately that didn't last long, as girls shortly did start to freak out. But eventually they thankfully did get evacuated safely, and these girls were able to not only help the campers, but make sure that everyone was okay. I mean, these 2 girls, they did a great thing by making sure, campers stayed safe. Writing their names on, the girls was honestly extremely smart for one, but, making sure people are able to return home safely where they should be is a great thing to do. Truly, a round of applause for these young women. You guys did a great thing. Just as the man yesterday who saved 165 people, you guys deserve your flowers. And any one of these counselors or anyone who worked to save people deserves their flowers. I mean, truly, thank you so much. Moving on to our final segments tonight, Elon Musk says Steve Bannon is on the Epstein files. In a post on Twitter, Elon Musk has come out saying Steve Bannon is in the Epstein files along with Trump. Elon Musk simply wrote, Bannon is in the Epstein files, in a response to a tweet by Roger Stone. Stone claimed Bannon met with Epstein at his home in New York and in Paris after Epstein was convicted. Just drove past Surprise Town. There wasn't anything shocking to see. I wouldn't be surprised if him and Trump aren't the only ones. I hope Elon keeps talking. I really do. I will absolutely suffer through the stupidity that that man puts out on the internet and through his companies just to watch Trump's downfall. It's beautiful. Um, but let's not forget that Elon is still a terrible person who pollutes low-income communities and does so much more horrible things. But truly, I really do hope Elon keeps talking because I think Elon knows. And if he knows, by all means, keep preaching. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching this episode. I hope you all enjoyed. Before I end it, episode of 100 Evening News Recap is coming up. This is episode 98. There is one more until the episode 100 of your news recap. I would really, really appreciate it if you guys went and filled out the form. We're doing a little Q&A on the news recap. It's on the YouTube community tab. It's on my Blue Sky, and it's also on my Substack. So it would mean the world to me if you guys submitted some questions. Please, I would really appreciate it. We have 2 submissions so far. And it would be really cool if some more people could do so as well. I would appreciate it so much. So please go do that. But with that being said, if you're on YouTube, please consider subscribing, dropping a like, dropping a comment down below. We're on our way to 500 subscribers. And that's the main goal out here, I would love to get there by the end of the summer. Hopefully that's possible. Maybe, maybe not. But if you're on Substack, please consider pledging your support. All funds go to me to help me pay for the things that I'll need to pay for as I'm going to college shortly in around 5 weeks from now, which is crazy to say. But it'll help me pay for food and clothing and all those kinds of things. But if not, you can always subscribe for free. I truly do appreciate all forms of support on this content. It means the world to me. So thank you guys so much. And I will see you all in tomorrow's news recap. Later.